All right, welcome back, fans, for game number 2 of this GLIAC doubleheader. We are hosting the Lake Erie College Storms. The Oilers dropped the first one in a 15-inning marathon. The final in that one was 4-2. Oilers lost. A.J. Cecil took the loss on the hill. Lineups for this game will go as follows. First, for the visitors, Deani will be leading off and playing left field. Lindgren in center. DeCamp at third. Matthews at short. Giddings at first.
For Lake Erie. Number 10, left fielder Nico Deani.
Sackett will do the catching. Lupke is DHing. Lind will be in right. Bavenzi at second. And our first pitch from Mason Mayberry is a ball. Mason getting the start in game 2 for the Oilers. Mason had a good outing in his last one. That was an outing versus Felician down in North Carolina. He pitched a no-hitter into the 8th inning, ended up getting the win, just allowing 1 earned run in that ball game. On the year, Mason has pitched 19 2/3 innings, just a 2.29 ERA. He struck out 22 hitters in those 19 2/3 innings. This is a good arm on the mound for game 2 for the Oilers, who look to pick up their first conference win of the year as they drop the first game of this doubleheader. This ball is a one-hopper back to Mayberry on the mound, and the first out of the ball game is retired.
Center fielder number 29, Aaron Lindgren.
Lindgren up to the plate now. Is hitting 189 so far in this young season. Swings at the first pitch he sees from Mayberry and chops it foul. This is the second game of a doubleheader. First one went to 15. A lot of the other games going on in the GLIAC are wrapping up their second games already. We're just beginning ours here in Findlay. Mayberry winds and fires, and that ball is outside. Count goes to 1-1 on Lindgren. Lindgren was 1 for 7 in the game prior. Swings and rolls this one out to Johnson at second base, and there are 2 away.
The third baseman, number 3, Zach DeCamp.
Couple of changes in the Oilers lineup. John Schallenberger is getting the start out in right field. That actually the only change I see in the lineup from the starting lineup from the first game. And Zach DeCamp up now, was 2 for 7 in game 1. Came into that ball game hitting .440. And last season was a honorable mention all-conference performer. Second pitch from Mayberry is taken for a ball. Count goes to 2-0. Pitch taken by DeCamp for strike 1. Ball low. Count goes to 3-1. In that first game, the Oilers lost it 4-2 in 15 innings. Each of the teams had 11 hits. Only error of the game was on Findlay. That was in the 10th inning of that ball game. Logan Hara and Austin Adams each picked up an RBI for the Oilers. And that ball is outside to DeCamp, who walks, first base runner of the game for the Storm. And Sean Matthews, the shortstop, will step to the plate.
The shortstop, number 16, Sean Matthews.
Matthews was 2 for 6 and scored a couple of runs in Game 1. He scored the go-ahead run in the top of the 15th inning. Matthews flies this one out to center field. Schwerer, a couple of steps to his right, and the inning is over. We're headed to the bottom of the first. This game is tied at 0. It'll be Schwerer, Johnson, and Goulet to lead off the bottom of the first for the Oilers. Following Goulet will be Merriman at third, John Schallenberger in right, Austin Adams in left, Pete Burkett at first, Miguel Valdez catching, and Kevin Schrock at short.
Leading off the bottom of the first for the Oilers, the center fielder, number 5, Josh Schwerer.
And in the first game, Josh Schwerer was 2 for 7, scored a run. That run came in the 6th inning for the Oilers, and tied that ball game at 1-1, where it remained until the 15th inning. First pitch is a ball to Schwerer. Pitcher on the mound. Started one ball game and is 0-1 on the year. 9 innings pitched. Has given up 6 earned runs, just 3 strikeouts in those 9 innings. Hopefully a pitcher that the Oilers can touch up for a few runs here early in the ball game, as the pitching has been solid, but it's been that offense that's struggled to find any answers, and Schwerer grounds out to short to begin the ball game.
Second baseman, number 3, Cam Johnson.
That'll bring up second baseman Cam Johnson. Cam, a freshman for Findlay, in the first game was 0 for 6. Came into the day as one of the hotter hitters. Struggled, though, in Game 1. Johnson on the season is hitting .242, has 8 hits in 33 at-bats, 3 doubles, 4 RBI. That ball on the outside corner for a strike. A little more zip on the fastball from Kelly. Difference from the first pitcher we saw in Game 1 for the Storm, who relied more on the off-speed. And Johnson lines this one back up the middle. First hit of the ball game. And it's a Cam Johnson single here in the bottom of inning number 1.
Designated hitter, number 22, Chase Goulet.
That'll bring up Chase Goulet doing the designated hitting for the Oilers. Was 2 for 6 in game 1. Oilers would love to get on top here. Like I said, pitching has been pretty solid. They lead the GLIAC now. Started game 1 with just over a 3 ERA, but after the outing turned in by the pitching staff in game 1, that ERA has dipped to 2.9 as a team. That number does lead the GLIAC. So they are definitely getting the effort on the mound that they need. Just need to get some offense going, and Coach Perrell searching to find it. Still trying to find that lineup that can put numbers on the board. Goulet shoots this one out to left center field, but the center fielder Lindgren is over and corrals it for out number 2.
The third baseman, number 7, Troy Merriman.
Troy Merriman stands at the plate now. In game 1, Merriman was 1 for 6. And so entering the ball game is now hitting .298. That ball is inside, and count goes to 1-0 to the Oilers' third baseman, who's in his first season of collegiate baseball and doing a pretty good job. He's been a constant in the lineup. He and Kevin Schrock, the only 2 Oilers who have played in every ball game so far. The 1-0 to Merriman is grounded through the left side of the infield past the shortstop Matthews into left field for a hit for Merriman, and a couple of runners on now for John Schallenberger getting the start in right field.
The right fielder, number 24, John Schallenberger.
Merriman on first, Johnson on second for John Schallenberger. Schallenberger's been struggling so far this year, hitting .148. But again, Coach Perrell looking for that lineup that can put numbers on the board. And at this point, anybody can earn a spot if they can just start hitting. So Schallenberger maybe looking for a couple of hits in this ball game, could play himself back into the lineup. And a hit here would be pretty big, scoring Johnson, giving the Oilers an early lead. And Schallenberger takes first pitch he sees high for a ball. That ball is low. Count goes to 2-0 to the Oilers' senior right fielder, a fifth-year senior. Sat last year with a medical red shirt and is back into the action this year. That ball's on the outside corner. Count goes to 2-1. Schallenberger has 4 hits on the season and 3 RBI, has walked 4 times. Pitch from Kelly is a check swing. And Schallenberger certainly doesn't like the call, and neither does Coach Perrell. The home plate umpire says he did go around, and so it's a swing and a miss. And the count is even at 2-2 with 2 outs. And Merriman on first, Johnson on second. Both of those players reached via the single. 2-2 to Schallenberger is down in the dirt. Nice block by the catcher, Darren Sackett, getting the start here in game 2. And the count is full. Runners are going to get a head start here if Schallenberger can hit one in a gap somewhere. Merriman could score. I'm sure Coach Perrell just hoping for a base hit, though, as the Oilers need any kind of offense they can get here early in the ballgame. This will be a 7-inning contest. The first game originally scheduled for 7, and this would be a 9. But since the first game went to extra innings, went to 15, then this game changes and is then the 7. Schallenberger strikes out looking on a fastball on the outside part of the plate. That ends the bottom of the first. We are headed to the top of the second, no score. Giddings, Sackett, and Lupke are due up for the Storm in the top half of the second inning. Mason Mayberry on the hill for the Oilers. Only runner of the game so far for the Storm was a walk. That was DeCamp in the first inning. And Giddings takes ball 1. Count is 1-0. Giddings swings and drills this one through the left side of the infield for the Storm's first hit of the ball game.
Pitcher number 44, Darren Sackett.
Darren Sackett getting the start at the catcher's position for the Storm. Came in as a substitute in the last ball game. Grounds this one to the third baseman, Merriman, who bobbles. Didn't throw to second, and the bobble caused him to have to go to first. He does get the out, however, so Sackett gets Giddings into scoring position with 1 out.
The designated hitter, number 28, Rutger Lupke.
Rutger Lupke now to the plate. The designated hitter for the Storm did not play in Game 1. Has had just 3 at-bats so far this season. He is a junior. Takes strike 1 there from Mayberry. Mayberry delivers. This one hit off the fist. Tough play for Merriman, who's charging, throws high to the first baseman, Burkett. That'll go as a base hit for Rutger Lupke.
Right fielder, number 9, Alex Lee.
Runners at the corners now with 1 out for Alex Lind. And in the last ball game, Lind came in as a substitute in the 9th inning, had a few at-bats, walked, hit by a pitch, and singled. It was a productive game for Lind. He singled and scored in the 15th and had an RBI. played himself into the lineup here for Game 2. There, a check swing and a miss on the slider from Mason Mayberry for strike number 2. In the last start for Mayberry against Felician, he went 8 innings and struck out 12 in that ball game. There, the pass ball allows Lupke to get himself into scoring position. Now 2 runners in scoring position for the hitter Lind. Lind gets time. Pretty good crowd has stuck around here for the second game of the day. The first one lasted just over 4 hours. Scheduled start time for this game was 4 o'clock, but it didn't get started until about 5:45, and that ball is grounded to short by Lind. And the first run of the game goes to the Storm, who take a 1-0 lead in the top of the second inning.
Second baseman number 6, Austin Movenzi.
First pitch to Austin Movenzi is a ball. The second baseman for the Lake Erie Storm in the last contest was 1 for 6. He hit in the leadoff spot in that one. Today gets the start. The 1-1 from Mayberry is taken for a strike. Count goes to 1-2. Movenzi hitting .229 on the season, 8 hits in 35 at-bats. The 1-2 from Mayberry is fouled off to the right. One and two from Mayberry is grounded to second baseman Johnson. Movenzi is out, and so are the Storm. We're headed to the bottom of the second. Storm lead it 1-0. Adams, Burkett, and Valdez due up for the Oilers. in the bottom half of the second inning. First pitch is a strike to Adams. Oilers had a couple of hits in the first inning, but went quietly as they failed to score. Austin Adams at the dish got the start in game one. The 0-1 is taken for a strike, and it's now 0-2 to the Oilers left fielder. Adams in the first game was 1 for 3. Did have one of the 2 RBIs for Findlay in that ball game. That ball taken in the other's batter's box for ball 1. The 1-2 is in the dirt for a ball. Count goes to 2-2. On the year, Adams is hitting 147. He's got 5 hits in 34 at-bats. Picked up his 4th RBI in the last ball game. This ball is a couple of hops to first base, but foul, and Adams will get another shot at it here as the count remains at 2-2. We've been giving you updates on the NCAA basketball tournament that's been going on, and Kentucky won that first ball game over Cincinnati. It was close, but they pulled away. Kentucky won 64-51, the final. The second marquee matchup of the day featured Ohio State and Arizona. That ball game is tied at 25 in the first half. I know there's probably a lot of Buckeye fans out there, so we're pulling for them in that game against Arizona. The count is now full to Austin Adams. And Adams fouls that one off to the left side here at Fifth Third Field. Sun is out for the end of this ball game. It was cold, dark, and windy earlier as game 1 started, but the sun broke in about the 13th inning of our last ball game, and it's stayed out ever since, warming it up a little bit. Hopefully warming up the bats for the Oilers as Adams flares this one out to left field. Left fielder Diani had some trouble with it, but does make the catch for the out, the first out of the inning.
The first baseman, number 28, Pete Burkett.
Burkett at the dish for Findlay. In game 1, Burkett was 2 for 5, hitting in the 7-hole today, and gets another start at first base. He swings at the first pitch he sees and fouls it down the first base line for strike number 1. On the season, Burkett is hitting a couple of walks for Burkett. The 0-1 is taken off the outside part of the plate for ball 1 to the Oilers' first baseman. Burkett fouls that pitch down the right field line and out of play. Count goes to 1-2. And Burkett waits on the 1-2 from the pitcher, Heath Kelly, who is the left-handed pitcher for the Storm. Throws a slider on the outside half of the plate. Dive from Giddings at first. Flips to the pitcher, Kelly, And Pete Burkett is retired for the second out of the inning.
Number 35, Miguel Valdez.
Miguel Valdez steps to the plate for the Oilers. And back in the first game, Valdez was 1 for 5. Singled in the 15th inning. And on the season, Valdez is hitting 156. He takes a strike here from Kelly to begin his at-bat. That ball is taken off the plate for ball one. Count is now 1-1. Looking for other scores around the GLIAC today, as this is the first day of GLIAC play. All the other games are wrapping up, and we're just getting our second game started here, as our first one went to 15 innings. Count is now 2-2 to Valdez. Grand Valley won both games of their doubleheader versus Ohio Dominican. And Valdez takes strike 3. And that's the final out of the inning for the Oilers. We are headed to the top of the third. Storm lead this one 1-0. For the Storm in this inning will be the top of the order. Diani, Lindgren, and DeCamp up, as Diani takes fastball over the outside half of the plate for strike 1. In the ball game today, Diani is 0 for 1, but he had a pretty good one in game 1. He was 2 for 6 and had a walk and a hit by pitch in that one, so got on base quite a bit. That ball was taken high, count 1-1. Swing and a miss from Diani. Count is now 1-2. That slider is just off the plate for ball 2. Count is now 2-2. Deani grounds this one to Merriman at third, who bobbles, picks it up, and throws the first for the first out of the inning.
The center fielder, number 29, Aaron Lindgren.
Count is now 1-1 to the second hitter in the lineup, the center fielder Aaron Lindgren. This is Lindgren's second at-bat of this ball game. He's hitless so far. Was 1 for 7 in game 1. I'm just hitting just 189 so far this season. He rips this one down the right field line fair. Schallenberger gives chase all the way into the corner. Lindgren around second base. He's headed to third, and he'll be in with a stand-up triple with one out here in inning number 3. Stand-up triple for Aaron Lindgren.
Third baseman, number 3, Zach DeCamp.
And that brings up the junior third baseman, Zach DeCamp, hitting .385 after the ball game earlier today, in which he went 2 for 7. Went into that ball game hitting .440, and so the 2 for 7 drops his average to a mere .385. This is a good hitter. Was honorable mention all GLIAC last season. And the 0-0 from Mayberry is taken for a strike. Lake Erie leads this ballgame 1-0. We're in the third inning. A one-out triple from Lindgren, and he is 90 feet away from scoring. DeCamp at the plate takes another strike. Count is now 0-2. Mayberry already in a bit of a jam here early. The 0-2 to DeCamp is a check swing. Miguel should appeal, and they say he didn't go. Not so sure about that one, but nothing we can do about it. It's a ball. Count is 1-2 to DeCamp. It was a pretty good slider there from Mayberry on the outside part of the plate. The 1-2 to DeCamp. Good job by Miguel to go to his knees and to his right, keeping that ball from reaching the backstop. Count goes to 2-2. The 2-2 from Mayberry. DeCamp swings and misses. Good change up there from Mayberry. And there's 2 away here in the top of the third inning.
Shortstop, number 16, Sean Matthews.
And Sean Matthews strolls to the plate. Matthews was 2 for 6 in game 1 and is 0 for 1 in the second game. Mayberry's first pitch is down in the dirt for ball 1. Matthews is hitting .282 this season. Has 11 hits in 39 at-bats, 9 RBI. He is second on his team in that category. The 1-0 from Mayberry is swung on and missed. Sort of a half swing there from Matthews. Count goes to 1-1. Valdez drops to his knees and blocks the ball in the dirt. Count is now 2-1. Again, if you missed game one, it was a long one. 15 innings. The Oilers lost that ball game 4-2. Each team had 11 hits, but the Oilers just didn't get the big hit they needed when they needed it the most, and could only put a couple of runs on the board, and they fell 4-2. That ball outside. Count now 3-1 to Matthews. This would be good if Mayberry can get out of a jam here early. That ball, maybe lucky that caught Matthews on the leg. If it didn't hit him, that would have been to the backstop and another run would have scored. But as it stands, it's a hit by pitch. Matthews walks to first base, and Cale Giddings steps to the plate. Giddings was 0 for 5 in the first game. He's 1 for 1. And his pitch from Mayberry is a strike. Giddings is hitting .206 so far this season. Lake Erie lineup isn't bad offensively. They're hitting .254 as a team compared to just .224 for the Oilers. Mayberry delivers a slider that catches the outside part of the plate, and it's 2 strikes here to Giddings, the 5-hitter for the Storm. The 0-2 to Giddings is hit out to right field deep and over the head of Schallenberger. And that's going to score a couple of runs. And the Storm go ahead 3-1 thanks to the double from Cale Giddings.
The catcher, number 44, Darren Sackett.
Darren Sackett steps to the dish now after the 2-run double from Giddings puts the Storm ahead 3-0 over Findlay. Sackett takes that pitch for strike 1. Sackett is 0 for 1 in the game, and he takes strike 2 on the outside half of the plate. Giddings is already off to a good game number 2. He's got a couple of hits, a run scored, and 2 RBI. And we're in just the 3rd inning. Mayberry delivers low and away. That's ball 1 to Darren Sackett, the catcher for the Storm. Oilers can't get behind by too much. Again, we mentioned just hitting .224 this season. Runs have been hard to come by. The 2-2 from Mayberry is swung on and fouled back into the screen. Count remains at 2-2. Part of scoring runs is hitting with runners in scoring position. In that area, the Oilers have struggled, hitting just .231 as a team. Sackett gets time. Count is 2-2. There are 2 outs. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. Lake Erie has scored 2 in this inning. There's a swing and a miss from Sackett to end the inning. Lake Erie scored 2 runs on 2 hits, left a runner on base, but they'd lead this ball game 3-0. We're headed to the bottom of the 3rd. Kevin Schrock to lead off the bottom of the 3rd inning for the Oilers. It'll be Schrock, Schwerer, and Johnson. In the first ball game, Schrock was 0 for 5. Comes into this one, hitting .203, and the first pitch is fouled out of play down the right field line. Wind has sort of shifted here. In game 1, it was out towards the right field pole, now blowing more in from left field. Going to be tough to hit one out. That ball is inside. Count goes to 1-1 to Schrock, who has yet to get an extra base hit this year. He's got 12 hits. All of those are singles. Little check swing here, and that ball's fouled down the first baseline. Count goes to 1-2 to the Oilers starting shortstop. The 1-2 is on the outside part of the plate. Good slider there from Heath Kelly. And it's the first out of the inning for the Oilers.
Center fielder number 5, Josh Schwerer.
And Josh Schwerer, the center fielder for Findlay, is now at the dish, top of the order. Comes into this ball game hitting .250. He's got 8 hits in 33 at-bats. Was 2 for 7 in game number 1 and scored a run. That was the run in the 6th inning. Schwerer led that inning off with a single, stole second, and came around to score on a ground out from Austin Adams. This ball is chopped on a couple of hops back to the pitcher, Kelly, who fields and throws to first for the second out of the inning.
Second baseman number 3, Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson to the plate, now 0 for 6 in game 1. is 1 for 1 in this game. He singled back in the first inning. That curveball is taken low for ball 1. Johnson, part of a good freshman class Coach Perrell has assembled. And for the 4th game in a row, he's got 4 freshmen in the field. That one's chopped back to the pitcher, who fields and throws to first. It's out number 3. The Oilers are out of the 3rd. We're headed to the top of inning number 4. Lake Erie leads this one 3-0. Lupke, Lind, and Bovenzi are on to lead off the top of the 4th, and the first pitch of the inning is a hit batter. Rutger Lupke reaches first with no outs.
The right fielder, number 9, Alex Lind.
And so the first runner of the inning reaches base, and now at the plate is Alex Lind, the right fielder for the Storm. He squares the bunt and does so back to the pitcher Mayberry, whose only play is to first base. Lind does his job, and Lupke is now in scoring position for Bovenzi, the 9-hitter.
The second baseman, number 6, Austin Bovenzi. I love mine.
And the first pitch is a slider down the heart of the plate to Bovenzi. And the count is 0-1. Swing and a miss there, and the count goes to 0-2. Lupke, the runner on second, he reached via the hit by pitch, was moved to second on a sacrifice bunt from Alex Lind. And Bovenzi now batting, was the leadoff hitter in the last game, hitting 9 in this game. Takes that pitch on the outside corner for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Mason Mayberry, 3 pitches, and records a strikeout. 2 away.
The left fielder, number 10, Nico Diani.
And to the plate is the left fielder, Nico Diani. Diani was 2 for 6 in game 1. And is 0 for 2 in this game 2. That ball taken for the first pitch. Count goes to 1-0. Good block by Valdez, going down to his knees and to the right, keeping that ball in front of him. Lupke gets his lead off of second. And the 1-0 to Diani is taken for a strike. Count now 1-1 to the Storm left fielder. The 1-1 to Diani is a slider. Catches the outside corner for strike 2. And after hitting the first batter of the inning, this would be good for Mayberry and for the Oilers to get out of this one unscathed, as they already trail 3-0 here in the 4th inning. That pitch just off the outside corner. Count goes even at 2-2 with 2 outs. Valdez down to his knees, blocks that pitch, and the count goes full to Nico Diani. Aaron Lindgren is on deck for the Storm. And Diani waits on the full count offering from Mayberry. It's a ball outside, and a 2-out walk puts runners on first and second for Aaron Lindgren.
The center fielder, number 29, Aaron Lindgren.
Lindgren was 1 for 7 in game 1 and is 1 for 2 and has a run scored in this game. This one fouled back into our building here for strike number 1. Count 0-1 to the Storm center fielder. That ball is taken for a strike, and the count goes to 0-2. 0-2 to Lindgren. Diani on first. He reached via the walk. And Lupke leads off of second base. He reached on a hit by pitch on the first pitch of the inning. So a couple of runners on, one in scoring position here for Lindgren, who came into the game today hitting 189. That pitch just off the outside part of the plate. And the count is 1-2 to Lindgren. Lindgren has 3 home runs so far this season. He leads his team in that department. Also has 9 strikeouts, which also leads his team. So there, a pitch outside is a ball, but Valdez fires to third baseman Merriman, and Lupke is caught stealing to end the top half of the 4th. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. Oilers trail in this one 3-0. Goulet, Merriman, and Schallenberger due up for the Oilers. In the bottom half of the fourth inning, Miguel Valdez threw out Aaron Lindgren in the top half of this inning to end the inning. And Goulet hits the first pitch he sees out to center field for the first out. And now at the dish is Merriman.
Third baseman, number 7, Troy Merriman.
Merriman was 1 for 6 in the first ball game. That took his average to 298. And in this one, the second game of the doubleheader, Merriman is 1 for 1. He singled back in the first inning. Takes the first pitch he sees for a ball. Count is 1-0 to the Oilers' young third baseman, Troy Merriman. Second pitch from Kelly is a strike. Count is now 1-1 to Merriman. And the 1-1 is low. Count is now 2-1. Kelly working pretty quickly for the Storm. Change up on the outer half of the plate is taken by Merriman. Strike number 2. Count is now 2-2. Merriman looking for a one-out hit. Schallenberger on deck. That pitch is fouled off of the front foot of Merriman. And that doesn't feel good. The catcher, Sackett, will go out and have a word with his pitcher, Kelly, just to give Merriman a little time to shake it off. Count is 2-2 to Merriman, who is back at the plate after hitting one off of his foot. And the pitch from Kelly is smothered by Sackett. Count is now full. The lights have come on here at the Fifth Third field at the Marathon Diamonds as we approach sunset. It's 6:45. And we're just getting our second ball game going. That's a nice play by the first baseman, Giddings, who flips to his pitcher, Kelly, for the second out of the inning.
Right fielder, number 24.
That brings to the plate John Schallenberger, the senior right fielder for the Oilers. Is 0 for 1 in the ball game, was caught looking back in the first inning. And the first pitch to Schallenberger is inside. He ducks out of the way for ball 1. Schallenberger in a position where he can play himself into a starting lineup with a good ball game, as Pete Jorgen struggled in game 1. That pitch is taken outside for strike 1, pardon me. Count is now 1-1. Kelly Roxanne fires the 1-1 to Schallenberger's fouled off just over the head of the Storm in the first base dugout. And the count is now 1-2 to the Oilers' right fielder. Schallenberger digs in and waits for the 1-2 offering from Kelly. And it's pitched well outside, taken for ball 2. Count is 2-2. The 2-2 to Schallenberger is a swing and a miss. And that strikeout ends the 4th inning for the Oilers. No runs, no hits, no errors. We're headed to the top of the 5th. Findlay trails 3-0. First pitch of the at-bat to Lindgren, who leads off the top of the 4th. Pardon me, the top of the 5th. And he lines one to Burkett at first and is retired for the first out of the inning. And now stepping to the plate is Zach DeCamp.
Third baseman, number 3, Zach DeCamp.
Third baseman for the Storm. He's hitting .285 this season. He swings and fouls off the first pitch he sees from Mayberry. DeCamp is 0 for 1 in this ball game today. The 0-1 to DeCamp is a ball outside, and the count goes to 1-1. Mayberry into his 5th inning of work now. Has 3 strikeouts and a couple of walks, and has surrendered 3 runs. 1 run in the 2nd inning and a couple of runs in the 3rd. That pitch outside, check swing from DeCamp. He did not go, and the count goes to 2-1. That pitch low and away for ball 3. Count is 3-1 to DeCamp. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Oilers trail 3-0. Again, this is a 7-inning ball game. That pitch rolled through the middle, and it's a base hit for DeCamp. His first of this game number 2. Sean Matthews at the plate now, and that ball is taken off the plate for ball one. DeCamp on first. He reached with a single. Matthews hitting .282 this season. He is 0 for 1 in the game, walked and scored back in the second inning. Matthews chops this one foul past the third base dugout. Strike one, count is now 2-1. There's some action in the Oilers bullpen. I believe that's freshman Eric Schrand getting loose. That ball is low to Matthews, and the count goes to 3-1. Don't want to walk Matthews here. Would move DeCamp into scoring position with just one out, and Oilers already trailing in this one 3-0. DeCamp is off with the pitch, but Matthews fouls it out of play. Count goes full. Especially don't want to walk Matthews here because Giddings, who is on deck, is 2 for 2 in this ball game with a couple of RBIs. So the hot hitter in the lineup for the Storm waits on deck. But first, the full count pitch to Matthews. And it's on the inside corner. Matthews throws his bat, takes off his helmet, doesn't like the call. But it's strike three to Matthews. A big strike three is the second out of the inning. And Giddings, the first baseman for the Storm, steps to the plate.
The first baseman, number 25, Cale Giddings.
Cale Giddings is 2 for 2 in this game today. Has a single in the second, singled and scored in that inning, and doubled in the third inning. First pitch is a ball, goes to 1-0. Second pitch is a strike. Count is now 1-1. We were looking at the basketball scores, and Arizona and Ohio State, they're in the second half now. Arizona leads that one 46-36. And the other game going on in the first half is Xavier and Georgia State. Xavier leads that ball game 30-28. This ball from Giddings is popped up behind the shortstop, Schrock, who struggled to find it in the high sky, but it eventually does and makes the play for the third out of the inning. Giddings is retired, and so are the Storm. We're headed to the bottom of the fifth. Oilers trail at 3-0. Austin Adams is on now to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. The Oilers left fielder. It'll be Adams, Burkett, and Valdez. Only 9 outs left for the Oilers. This is the 5th inning, just playing 7 in this one. Down 3 runs. Got to think that the Oilers would like to get at least 1 here in this inning to try and cut that 3-run lead. Adams with a big swing and a foul. On the first pitch he sees, count goes to 0-1. Adams hitting 147 this season. Is 0 for 1 in this ball game. And was 1 for 3 in game number 1. Count is 0-2 to the Oilers left fielder. That fastball is outside for the first ball. Count 1-2 to Austin Adams. The 1-2 from Kelly is swung on and missed for the first out of the bottom half of the 5th inning.
First baseman, number 28, Pete Burkett.
Burkett at the dish now is 0 for 5 this season versus left-handed pitchers. That's who he faces now in Heath Kelly. That ball is inside and hits Burkett, and the Oilers have a base runner here with 1 out in the 5th inning. I'll bring to the plate Miguel Valdez.
Catcher number 35, Miguel Valdez.
Miguel swings and fouls off the first pitch he sees for his at-bat. The count now goes to 0-1. Valdez was 1 for 5 in the first game of this doubleheader. Takes ball 1. Valdez hitting 156 on the season. And Burkett gets his lead off of first. He was just hit by a pitch in his at-bat. Valdez takes low for ball 2. Count is 2-1. Kelly is up over 60 pitches now. It was his 62nd pitch of the ball game. He's done a good job with this Oilers lineup. Only 2 hits, and those both were in the first inning. That ball just misses, and the count goes to 3-1 to Valdez, who struck out looking back in the second. Again, the Oilers had a couple of hits in the first inning, but it's been 3 up, 3 down ever since then until Burkett's hit by pitch. Kelly had retired had retired 11 straight, and that pitch to Valdez was a strike, and the count goes full. Burkett gets his lead off of first. Valdez hits the full count pitch out to right field, where Alex Lind is over towards the line, corrals it for out number 2.
Shortstop, number 6, Kevin Schrock.
That'll bring Kevin Schrock to the plate, the sophomore shortstop for the Oilers. Kevin is hitting .203 this season. And in the game today, in his one at-bat, struck out looking back in inning number 3. Schrock takes the first pitch he sees in this at-bat low for ball 1. hit here from Schrock would turn the lineup over to Josh Schwer, who stands on deck. Ball is outside. Count now 2-0. Schrock can get picky and look for one pitch that he wants to hit.
It's Chloe. It's Chloe.
Count is 2-0 to Schrock. And he takes the fastball down the heart of the plate for strike one. Count is 2-1 to the Oilers shortstop. And Burkett gets his lead off of first. He reached on the hit by pitch to start this inning off. Burkett is running on the pitch. Schrock grounds one to the pitcher on a couple of hops, and Kelly throws to first to retire the last out of the inning. We're headed to the top of the sixth. Oilers trail in this one 3-0. Catcher Darren Sackett leads off the top of the sixth inning. It'll be Sackett, Lubke, and Lind for Lake Erie. First pitch is taken for ball one. Sackett has had 2 at-bats in this game, grounded out to third in the second inning, and struck out swinging in the third. Takes strike one from Mayberry, who's back on the hill for his 6th inning of work. He's allowed 3 runs, has 4 strikeouts, and a couple of walks. Sackett grounds this one out to Johnson at second, who throws the first for an easy out number 1.
Hitter number 28, Rutger Lubke.
Rutger Lubke steps to the plate now, and he is 1 for 1 in the game, singled in the second, and was hit by a pitch in the fourth. Takes ball 1 there. Mayberry now at 93 pitches, and we're in the 6th inning. Oilers trail it 3-0 here early, or late at this point. That ball grounded to shortstop. Schrock throws to first, and Lubke is retired for the 2nd out of the inning. Alex Lind is at the plate. That was ball number 1. And that ball is in the dirt for ball 2 to the Storm right fielder. Lind is 0 for 1. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game today. Had a sacrifice bunt in the fourth and grounded out to shortstop in the second inning. Count is now 1-2. That ball misses. Count now goes to 2-2. Lind is hitting .222 this season. And ball 3. And the full count offering to Lind is off the plate. And it's a 2-out walk from Mayberry.
The second baseman, number 6, Austin Bovenzi.
Austin Bovenzi strolls to the dish now, the Storm second baseman, hitting in the 9-hole today. Bovenzi is 0 for 2 in the game, struck out looking in the fourth and grounded out to second in the second inning of this game. First pitch he sees is a ball from Mayberry, who's up over 100 pitches now. That was the 101st. Still action in the Oilers bullpen. Got to think that if Mayberry can get out of this inning, it'll be the last for the starter. Lind gets his lead off of first, and Bovenzi waits on the 2-0. Mayberry catches the inside corner for the first strike. Count goes to 2-1. Bovenzi hitting .229 this season. He has 7 hits and 37 at-bats. Hit leadoff in game 1 and is hitting in the 9-hole here in game 2. That pitch is fouled down the right field line. For strike number 2, count goes even, 2-2. There are 2 outs, and the Oilers trail at 3-0. The Storm have collected 5 hits in this ballgame. The Oilers just 2, those both in the first inning of this one. Since those 2 hits, the only base runner for Findlay was a hit by pitch that was to Burkett in the bottom half of the 5th. The 2-2 to Bovenzi is fouled out over the first base dugout and out of play. Count remains even at 2-2. The 2-2 to Bovenzi, swung on and missed. And if that's the last pitch we see from Mason Mayberry, it was a pretty good outing for him. And the Storm are out of the top of the 6th. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. Oilers trail in this one 3-0. Center fielder Josh Swear to lead off the bottom half of the 6th inning. Oilers have their final 6 outs. It'll be Schwer, Johnson, and Goulet. And Heath Kelly still on the mound for the Storm. First pitch from Kelly is a ball. Count is now 1-0 to Josh Schwer. That ball is hit down the third base line and foul. So the count goes to 1-1. Schwer is 0 for 2 in the ballgame today. Grounded out to the pitcher in the third and grounded out to shortstop in the first. And he leads off here in the bottom of the 6th. Oilers trailing 3-0. A couple of hits for the Oilers. Both of those were in inning number 1. The 1-1 to Schwer is outside and taken for a ball. Count goes to 2-1. Schwer, the top of the order for Findlay. And fouls this one down the right field line, out of play for strike 2. Cam Johnson is on deck. And Chase Goulet in the hole. This is the time for offense as the Oilers have the top of their order and just a couple of innings left, trailing 3-0. They're going to need some offense here from the top of the order. And Schwer grounds it back to the pitcher for the first out of the inning.
Second baseman, number 3, Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson steps to the plate now. Johnson is 1 for 2 in the game, singled in the first and grounded out to the pitcher in the third. Johnson is hitting .242 this season and takes strike 1 from the pitcher Heath Kelly, who's only thrown 74 pitches so far, and we're in the 6th. Lake Erie starters have done a good job today of keeping their pitch count low while still getting these Oilers hitters out. And Johnson grounds to second base, who flips over to first for out number 2. And with 2 away, it'll be up to designated hitter Chase Goulet to get something going here in the 6th.
The designated hitter, number 22, Chase Findlay.
Findlay is 0 for 2 in the ball game today. Lined out to center in the 4th and flied out to center in the 1st. Goulet hitting .323 this season. And the first pitch from Kelly is low for ball 1. That pitch catches the outside corner for strike 1 to Goulet. Kelly is in his 6th inning of work. He's just surrendered the 2 hits, no runs, and he struck out 5. And Goulet rolls this one to second base. Goulet is out, and so are the Oilers. We're headed to the top of the 7th. Storm lead this one 3-0. Deani, Lindgren, and DeCamp to lead off the top of the 7th for the Storm. Deani fouls that one off, and the count goes to 1-1. Deani is 0 for 2 in this ball game. Had a couple of hits in game 1. That slider from Mayberry is strike 2. Mayberry is still on the hill. He's back on for his 7th inning of work. He's thrown 109 pitches and is ahead of Deani 1-2. Deani swings and misses, and Mayberry picks up his 6th strikeout of the ball game.
Center fielder number 29, Aaron Lindgren.
Aaron Lindgren to the plate now for the Storm. And he takes the first pitch he sees and rolls it over the pitcher's mound into center field for a single.
Third baseman number 3, Zach DeCamp.
Camp is 1 for 2 in this ball game and was 2 for 7 in game 1. First pitch from Mayberry is a strike. Again, that first ball game went 15 innings, and the Oilers lost that one 4-2. Had a couple of chances to win it, but didn't get the hit they needed, and they fell by a couple of runs in that 15-inning ball game that lasted just over 4 hours. Lindgren gets his lead off of first, and the 1-1 to DeCamp is lined into center field. And it's another base hit for the Storm. Their 7th of the ball game. And that'll bring up shortstop Sean Matthews.
Shortstop number 16, Sean Matthews.
Coach Brian Mikowski headed out to the mound now to talk with his starting pitcher Mason Mayberry, and we'll take a break. Oilers trail in this one 3-0. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Conference on the mound is done, and Matthews steps to the plate with 1 out. He's got runners on first and second. The runner on first is DeCamp. Runner on second is Lindgren, and the first pitch from Mayberry to Matthews is taken in the dirt for ball 1. Double steal as Lindgren and DeCamp both advance. And that ball was taken for a ball. Count goes to 2-0. And now with just 1 out and Matthews at the dish, Coach Perrell brings his infield in with runners at second and third. There's strike 1 from Mayberry. Storm have collected 7 hits in this ball game. 3 runs, looking to add on here in the top of the 7th. Swing and a miss from Matthews. Again, this is just a 7-inning ball game, as the first one went into extra innings. And the 2-2 to Matthews. He fights it off down the right field line. Schallenberger gives chase, but it's out of play. And the count remains at 2-2. That the 120th pitch for Mayberry. The 2-2. Fouled back into the screen again. Matthews with a pretty good battle here. Runner on second base is DeCamp. The runner on third is Lindgren. And the Storm looking to add on to their already 3-0 lead. That ball is ripped past the diving Kevin Schrock into left field. They're waving DeCamp around third, and he scores. It's another couple of runs for the Storm on the RBI single from Matthews. And the Storm take a 5-0 lead now with still a runner in scoring position. And that will likely be the day for Mayberry, as freshman Eric Strand is now out of the pen. Day is done for Mayberry, and we will take a break. Storm have added on to their lead. They lead this one 5-0 here in the top of the 7th with 1 out. Cale Giddings steps to the plate now. The new pitcher on the mound for the Oilers is number 44, Eric Strand. He has just pitched 1/3 of an inning. Gave up 3 runs in that third of an inning. On here to try and get out of this top of the 7th with a runner on second base. And the Oilers already trailing 5-0. They're a check swing and a strike from Giddings, who is having a good ball game today. Is 2 for 3, has a couple of RBI and a run scored. Good day for the Storm first baseman, Cale Giddings. The 1-1 pitch from Strand is taken for a strike, and Strand is ahead in the count, 1-2. Giddings is hitting .206 this season. Has 7 hits, 3 of those are doubles. And the 1-2 from Strand is a curveball rolled out to second base. Johnson fields and throws to first for the second out of the inning. The runner Matthews advances, but there's 2 away. And Darren Sackett steps to the plate.
Catcher, number 44, Darren Sackett.
Sackett is 0 for 3 in this game number 2 and takes ball 1 from Eric Strand. Sackett rolls it through the right side and gets a bounce off the lip. Johnson can't handle it. That'll be an RBI single for Sackett. And the official scoring on that play is an error on the second baseman, Cam Johnson. But the run scores either way, and the Storm have extended their lead even further. It's now 6-0 Lake Erie. That pitch is taken from Strand. And the count goes to 1-2. Lupke at the plate. Sackett, who just reached on the air, gets his lead off of first. Strand delivers the 1-2 pitch. Valdez to his knees, blocks the ball in the dirt, and the count goes to 2-2. Lupke is 1 for 2 in this ball game. Did not play in the first game. And the 2-2 from Strand is popped high on the infield. Cam Johnson calls off everybody, and Lupke is out, and so are the Storm. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th. Oilers need 6. They trail at 6-0. On to pinch hit for the Oilers is number 26, Eric Rhea. Rhea is a junior infielder. Is looking for his first hit of the season. This is the third at-bat of the year for Rhea. Looking to get something going here. We're in the bottom of the 7th, and the Oilers trail it 6-0. That pitch taken for ball number 1. Heath Kelly still on the mound for the Storm. He's pitched a good ball game as the Oilers had a couple of hits in the first inning, but nothing since then, and they trail it 6-0. Count is 1-1 to Rhea. Again, as we get close to the end of this ball game, a reminder that you can check athletics.findlay.edu for a box score and full recap of today's games and any other games. Also, you can find information regarding all of our athletics teams. Again, athletics.findlay.edu. And Rhea takes that ball in the dirt. Count goes to 3-1. If the Oilers are hoping for any sort of comeback, they need a base runner here, as they're just 3 outs away from a opening day doubleheader sweep from the Lake Erie Storm. That ball is fouled off towards their third base dugout. Count is now full to Eric Rhea. Rhea chops this one back up the middle past the pitcher Kelly, but second baseman Austin Bovenzi comes on and makes the play. Rhea is retired for the first out of the 7th.
Hitting for the Oilers, number 14, Peter Jorgen.
Peter Jorgen is now on pinch hitting in the place of John Schallenberger. Jorgen started in game 1 and was 1 for 5 in that ball game. Jorgen takes strike 1 from Heath Kelly. Jorgen is hitting .189 this season. 10 hits, has a couple of doubles, has walked 4 times, and has 2 RBI. That ball is inside and taken for ball 1. Wind has died down here and the sun is low, as it is just past 7:30. Pitch is taken on the outside corner for strike 2 to Peter Jorgen. On deck is number 19, Christian Smith, who will be getting his first at-bat as an Oiler, following this at-bat from Peter Jorgen, who fouls off that pitch, and count remains at 1-2. Jorgen hits this one to second on a couple of hops. It's fielded by Bovenzi, and there are 2 away here in the bottom of inning number 7.
Hitting for the Oilers, number 19, Christian Smith.
Christian Smith is now at bat for the Oilers. This is his first at bat of the year. Takes the first pitch for ball 1. Smith is a freshman from the Colony in Texas. Again, getting his first plate appearance here as an Oiler. looking to get something going here with 2 outs, as the Oilers trail in this one 6-0. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Oilers down to their final out. It's been a long day for the Oilers. Lost game 1 in a 15-inning affair that lasted just over 4 hours. Lost that one 4-2. The count goes to 3-1 to Smith. Smith walks in his first collegiate at bat, and the Oilers have a runner on with 2 outs. And Austin Hoyles stepping to the plate for his first at bat of the season.
Pinch hitting for the Oilers, number 23, Austin Hoyles.
The string of pinch hitters continues as Burkett is pulled in place of Austin Hoyles. Hoyles is a freshman from Wayne, Ohio, went to Elmwood High School, where he was an all-conference selection in football, baseball, and basketball. Hoyles takes that pitch for strike 1. Smith gets his lead off of first base. Hoyles at the dish. Kelly delivers the 0-1 low, and the count goes to 1-1. Kelly has thrown 97 pitches in this ball game. He's been really efficient for the Storm. Ball is strike 2 to Hoyles. Oilers down to their last strike, and Austin Hoyles fouls this ball back to the right and out of play. Stays alive, and the count is 1-2. The next pitch of the game will be the 100th for Heath Kelly. Reminder that you can follow our Twitter account at Findlay Oilers, where we release any information you need to know about Oilers athletics. That will include this ball game, which has just gone final. A strikeout swinging ends the ball game, and the Oilers fall in this one. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base in at the 7th inning.
Your final line score for game 2 this evening. First for the visiting Lake Erie Storm. They scored 6 runs on 8 hits, committed no errors, and left 7 runners on base. For the University of Findlay, they scored no runs on 2 hits, committed 1 error, and left 3 runners on base. Thank you so much for attending today's game. As a reminder, games 3 and 4 will take place tomorrow with first pitch starting at noon. Please drive home safely.
And that was Jim Ginden signing off here, the PA announcer at the field. And the final here is 6-0. Lake Erie Storm get their second victory of the day and improve to 2-0 in conference play. And 5-4 on the season. Oilers drop it, their second game of the season, and fall to 6-13 on the season. Mayberry takes the loss. He pitched 6 1/3, allowed 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and struck out 6. Heath Kelly gets the win on the mound, his first of the year. He only surrendered 2 hits, no earned runs, gave up 1 walk, and struck out 5. Only Oilers with hits were Cam Johnson and Troy Merriman. Oilers dropped a couple of games today. First one was a 15-inning marathon. They lost that one 4-2. Lost this second game 6-0. Join us tomorrow as we will be on the air just before noon for a noon first pitch, or join us out at the Cube. Another doubleheader with Lake Erie College. Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.